What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video where we will talk about a lot of topics, but the biggest bombshell is that Dominic Lynch, a Liverpool-based, very reliable journalist, dropped the bombshell on Liverpool fans this morning that Liverpool are not planning a January move for Andre Trindade, the brilliant 22-year-old defensive midfielder from Fluminense. Apparently, even though Liverpool had scouts confirmed watching the Copa Libertadores final, we ended our interest for some reason or another because Liverpool apparently have enough midfielders. But we will look at the detailed reports. But I want to see and hear your reaction. Then let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this news? Do you think Liverpool shouldn't sign Andre, even though he's, I think, exactly the kind of player that we need, and he's only cost 35 million pounds? Did the Liverpool scouts see something that maybe put us off? I don't understand why Liverpool would suddenly end our pursuit, even though we have been scouting Andre for 18 months. And Dominic Lynch says that Liverpool do not intend to join any prospective mid-season race for Andre, who of course are of interest to Arsenal and Fulham. And I mean, if Andre ends up at Arsenal and he tears up the Premier League, Liverpool fans would be absolutely gutted and we would feel really sheepish. But I will be honest, we have to trust the Liverpool scouting system and we have to trust the decision makers, because 9 times or 8 times out of 10 the Liverpool scouts and the Liverpool transfer gurus got it right under Jurgen Klopp. The transfer success rate on Jurgen Klopp is absolutely ridiculous, so we have to trust them if they decided to end the pursuit of Andre. But maybe Dominic Lynch could be wrong, maybe his sources are misinformed, we don't know that yet. Liverpool explored the possibility, according to Dominic Lynch, of a move for Andre, but they were given no encouragement that a deal could be struck in the summer. Of course, Fluminense was very determined to keep Andre for the remainder of the Copa Libertadores, and Fluminense was proven right. They won the whole competition. And of course, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and also you can support me on Patreon, link is in the video description, or make a one-time donation via the thanks button below the video as well. Thank you so much for your awesome support. And according to Dominic Lynch, that summer snub meant they were forced to move on to other targets with Wataru Endo and Ryan Gravenberch. So I think we would have swapped Endo for Andre, but Gravenberch is a brilliant transfer and the jury is still out on Endo, even though he has been playing pretty okay. I would like to see Endo play more a little bit in the Premier League. And according to Dominic Lynch, Liverpool have no plans to return for Andre, despite Fluminense's willingness to sell him in January. And that's what is most baffling. Why would you suddenly end your interest in Andre when we wanted to buy him in the summer? We even put 3 bids in for Andre, and when he's actually available and when you could actually sign him, then you pull out of the deal. It makes no sense. Is this a smokescreen? Is this a negotiating tactic by Liverpool? Maybe scaring Fluminense into accepting a lower offer from Liverpool? I'm not really sure, but if Andre reads this, he surely won't be happy and he will choose another club probably in the Premier League, because I think Andre is desperate to play in one of the big leagues, and the Premier League has a lot of interest in Andre. So if he ends up at another club, it will be very interesting how successful he will be and whether Liverpool will rue this decision or regret this decision in the long term. And yes, on paper Liverpool have a lot of midfielders, and most of our midfielders have been successful, the transfers I mean, that we bought in the summer. But Thiago is constantly injured, Bajcetic is very injury prone as well, and it looks like Curtis Jones and Gravenberch have missed training today, so maybe they are injured as well. So Liverpool, even though they have the numbers on paper, again have quite a few injury-prone players. Endo hasn't really settled so far, at least under Jurgen Klopp. He hasn't been playing much. So I think Liverpool really need to sign a midfielder, because Man City's squad is absolutely ridiculous, and that's what we are competing with. Some Liverpool fans are saying we are not entering the race for the January transfer of Andre, because we are planning to strike the deal in November and get him in early. Well, I hope you guys are right on the Liverpool's Reddit forums. I can't believe if Liverpool are planning to play Alexis Mac Allister as a number 6 for the whole season. I mean, he's okay there, he's pretty good there, but he's not a world-class defensive midfielder, and that's what Liverpool need if we want to compete for the title. Arsenal have Declan Rice, Man United have Casemiro, Manchester City have Rodri, Chelsea have Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. Liverpool have Alexis Mac Allister, who is a brilliant world-class midfielder, but he's not a number 6. And for some games it's okay to play him there, but do you expect really against the really top teams for Mac Allister to stop many of their counterattacks? And also, he's much better further forward. Brighton made this not kind of mistake, but they had to play Alexis Mac Allister in a very deep position in his first season at the club, and then they signed Moises Caicedo from Ecuador, and then Alexis Mac Allister could be unleashed and play further forward, and that's where he really shone. That's where he scored 10 goals and was really good. And that's why Liverpool signed him. We didn't sign him for being a defensive midfielder. So why are we using him there? That's the big question. If Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp doesn't trust Endo, then sign a defensive midfielder in January. That's my main opinion, but let me know what is yours in the comments below. And you can look at the summer transfer window two ways really, because the end result is actually brilliant. We signed Szoboszlai, Mac Allister and Gravenberch, 3 players who absolutely have potential to become world class, and we also signed Endo for his great readership and to have a more experienced midfielder come in, because Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, 3 very experienced midfielders were leaving, and Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita as well, but they very rarely played because of constantly being injured. So Endo was signed as a potential leader in the squad, captain of Japan, captain of Stuttgart, and he's a really good rotation player. But how Liverpool got there was really messy, because we messed around trying to sign Mason Mount, and then we messed around trying to sign Lavia, and then we put in a world record bid for Moises Caicedo, even though Caicedo probably didn't really want to come to Liverpool. Maybe his agent played Liverpool against Chelsea to force Brighton to sell him. So the way we got there was very messy, and imagine if we were more serious and signed Mason Mount. Imagine if we signed Lavia for like 48 million and Chelsea pulled out of that race. Lavia is now still injured. He hasn't still played for Chelsea as far as I'm aware. And Mason Mount looks like a flop at Man United. Caicedo looks way overpriced. He's nowhere near worth 115 million pounds. But still, Liverpool put in a world record bid for Caicedo. So what do you think about Liverpool's summer transfer business? Because it could have gone a whole lot differently, and it could have been a much more disastrous transfer window. In the end, we signed Gravenberch because Bayern Munich made him available, because they thought they are getting Palhinha of Fulham. But that move failed in the end. That move has fallen through. If Bayern would have known that in advance, they probably wouldn't have sold Gravenberch, and then Liverpool would have been in real trouble, because Gravenberch has been a very important player for Liverpool. The only way I can see this working is maybe Liverpool are looking at a different profile of a defensive midfielder. Maybe we are looking at a player who is more similar to Moises Caicedo in that he's more of a destroyer. Andre is not really that like tall, physical, fast, with a well-built structure. Maybe you are looking at that kind of player. We don't really know until we sign that defensive midfielder that Liverpool pick out of the myriad of options. We don't really know what Liverpool really want and what Liverpool really want to go for. But there is a case to be made that Alexis Mac Allister, even though he doesn't look great as a defensive midfielder, he has been doing actually much better than people think, because if you look at his metrics, if you look at his numbers and compare with Bruno Guimaraes, Newcastle's holding midfielder, Declan Rice, Arsenal's holding midfielder, and Rodri, Manchester City's holding midfielder, Alexis Mac Allister has actually won more tackles per 90 minutes than all of the other three. He actually completed more recoveries than all of the other three players. He has more tackles plus interceptions than all the other three players, and he also has more passes blocked than the other three players. In terms of tackles won percentage, he's actually third behind Declan Rice and Rodri, who is in first place. That's the only metric where Rodri really excels above MacAllister. He won 58% of his tackles, MacAllister won 47% of his. But so that's not like a really big difference. But if you see tackles won, 1.5 for MacAllister, 1 for Bruno Guimaraes, 1.2 for Declan Rice, 1.3 for Rodri. Recoveries for Alexis Mac Allister, 7.3. Very similar to Rodri, he's 7.28. Bruno Guimaraes, only 5.3. And Declan Rice 6.1. These are metrics per 90 minutes. Tackles plus interceptions 4.2 per 90 minutes for Alexis Mac Allister, 2.4 for Bruno Guimaraes, Declan Rice 3.6 and 2.9 for Rodri. Passes blocked 1.9 for Mac Allister, 0.8 for Bruno Guimaraes, so less than half, 1.2 for Declan Rice and 0.6 for Rodri. So you can see that he actually leads a lot of these metrics above some of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League. So maybe on the eye it doesn't look like Alexis Mac Allister is a brilliant defensive midfielder, but certainly the numbers prove that he's pretty good. And there is still room for improvement. Hopefully the more Gravenberch and Szoboszlai and Mac Allister and Endo settles in this Liverpool midfield, the better we will play. And certainly we absolutely need to play better than against Luton, even though Liverpool created 5 or 6 big chances that even if we score 2 or 3 of them, we win the game comfortably. So ultimately the bottom line is Liverpool need to take our chances. The report that I don't like is again Liverpool are linked with Calvin Phillips of Man City. I just don't rate him. He's not mobile enough and he's 27 years old. And he has been barely playing for Man City, even though Rodri is probably the best defensive midfielder in the world. He has overtaken that position from Fabinho, but Calvin Phillips, I don't really rate him that much. For Leeds United, he was pretty good, but I don't think he's a top world-class defensive midfielder that Liverpool need. But if he's available on the cheap, maybe Liverpool will take a punt on him. But I would much prefer if we signed Andre for 30-35 million pounds. I think he has a much higher ceiling than Calvin Phillips, and Andre is 22 years old, Calvin Phillips is 27 years old. But Calvin Phillips gave his strongest indication that he could change clubs even in the January transfer window. He said, I know that I need to be playing games and competing every weekend. I'm going to have to make a decision on my future over the next months. So Calvin Phillips is definitely thinking about leaving Man City. And Harvey Elliott praised Dominik Szoboszlai by saying he's obviously world class and he's still so young as well. And Elliott's admiration for the new signings is palpable. They definitely made a positive impact on Liverpool. And also, according to James Pearce, Gravenberch has spoken with Ronald Koeman and De Jong, and their door is open for him to return to the Dutch squad ahead of the Euros. I mean, they would be foolish if they left Gravenberch out. And finally, great news, Marcelo Pitaluga has been called up to the under-23 Brazilian national team. Even though he hasn't made his Liverpool debut yet, he's still a young goalkeeper, growing and developing, so hopefully he can become brilliant in the future. And good luck to him. Hopefully he can play and get more experience. And that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.